Hello everyone, it's Imran here. Welcome back to another video. So I'm going to react to the newest audio story in Kiefer Adams' Thomas and Friends Season 4 of Audio Stories. Excuse me again. And this one is called Gordon Cables Up, uploaded on November 26th. So the last Thomas audio story I reacted to from Kiefer was Never Bother a Bulldozer. You want to check my reaction out, I'll have that up in the top right corner of your screen, and that was a pretty slice of life, story. This one's also looks like it's also going to be another slice of life story because it's called Gordon Cables Up. So we're finally getting an audio story that's centered a little bit around Gordon, and most centered around the cable that Gordon had in season 1. If you're all familiar with the season 1 episodes, Percy runs away, and down the mine, you would have noticed that Gordon had a cable he did to help Percy and Thomas he did in those episodes respectively. So it seems that Kiefer is going to give a little bit of a background story to it. I love how Kiefer in his audio story series just gives background stories to every single little detail right there, and to some parts of subplots of episodes in the TVS that were touched on briefly in some episodes, but were never actually happened. So yeah, that's definitely a big positive right there, that I love how he does audio stories on nearly every detail to notice to detail thing. So yeah, can't wait for this audio story. Really enjoyed the last audio story. Let's see how this one goes. I'll link to the video I'm reacting to in the description down below as always. So without further ado, just go ahead and get straight into this.
Gordon Cables Up. Written and told by Kiefer Adams. I won't go, Gordon grumbled one morning.
Oh.
Well, it looks like you don't have a choice, said Henry. Why can't you do it? Gordon grumbled. Why does the Fat Controller always rely on me to do duties like this?
Ooh.
Because for one thing, huffed Henry, I'm still adjusting to this special coal, and my name is not Gordon, nor am I painted blue.
Oh.
Gordon sulked.
That is a good point.
Not too long ago, he had rescued Percy from a big bank of earth after Percy had prevented a serious accident. Gordon had rescued Percy with a mechanism that the Fat Controller had made.
Okay.
It was a towing winch, and since Gordon was the strongest engine on the railway, the Fat Controller had requested him to come to the yards whenever he could and do a series of tests with the cable. But he was not happy about it.
Ooh.
For goodness sake, Gordon, just get on with it.
So there, we do have a flashback to Percy runs away right there, where Gordon used that cable. And although Gordon liked using it at first, he's not happy that he's constantly being called to the yards to constantly do tests with it.
Edward snorted. Fine, huffed Gordon, but I'm only doing it because I want you all off the back of my buffers. And once Gordon was in steam, he puffed importantly away. He's getting worse every day, exclaimed Henry. Edward muttered in agreement.
Yep, he definitely
Cheer up, Gordon, said the Fat Controller. I won't be keeping much of your time. I just want to see what this winch is capable of. Yes, sir, Gordon muttered miserably. Over the next few days, which to Gordon felt like years, the Fat Controller would have the workmen derail trucks and coaches across the yard. Using the winch, Gordon would then pull them back on the rails again. But it soon became clear that Gordon's heart was not on the job. He just wanted to go back to the express and feel important again. But with this towing winch, Gordon just felt useless. A few weeks later, and Gordon was still being put through his paces with the winch. Even after Henry came back from his rebuilding crew, Gordon was still miserable. One evening, the engines returned one by one at work to notice Gordon sulking. Well, isn't this a sight for sore eyes? Smirked James as he backed in. What's the matter, Gordon? Not enjoying your new role as rescue vehicle? It's degrading, Gordon snorted. I just want to pull coaches again. Is that too much to ask? Typical, exclaimed Henry. I've been away at crew for goodness.
Oh, maybe that's why Gordon got into a bad mood in the first place and then fell into the ditch. Because it was this cable thing he was having to do. I see what you're doing right here, Kiefer.
Just knows how long, and as soon as I come back, it's the same old story, Gordon. Perhaps the Fat Controller should send you over next. Gordon gave Henry a cold stare. You just go to sleep like a sensible engine, he retorted. The engines did just that. But Henry would soon face the wrath of Gordon's temper the next morning, when he had a lot to say about whistling loudly in stations. A few more days went by, and Gordon was looking more and more depressed than ever. Just when he thought his spirits couldn't be any lower, Thomas scampered up from the...
Oh look, there's the marketing engine right there for some reason right there. Wasn't expecting him to make an appearance.
branch line with Annie and Clarabelle. He dropped them off at the platform and went to get himself a drink. There he is!
Dear.
Thomas chuckled as he pulled up next to Gordon. Well, if it isn't Sodor's first locomotive-powered tow truck. How are we, Gordon?
Oh.
Gordon looked miserable. Recently, he had fallen into a ditch, and James and Henry had to pull him out. Never mind, Gordon, said Thomas. What you need is a good drink. May I recommend ditch water? All right, Thomas, that's enough, said his driver. Come on, you've got your train to take back. Thomas giggled to himself and scampered off. Goodbye, Gordon, he called. Take my advice. Add a crane arm on your tender and you will look like a tow truck in no time.
Gordon's
depressed, laughing at his own wit. Oh, the indignity. Gordon whimpered. The next day, Gordon was once again in his siding at the big station. Thomas had recently given him another hard time about ditches. He had brought his trucks to the big station and was now having a rest. But it didn't last long. Wake up, Gordon, called his driver as he and the fireman came hurrying over. The Fat Controller needs you urgently. Gordon was about to reply when he noticed the winch being fastened to his buffer beam. I will not wear this again, he thundered. What's next? Does Markley need rescuing? No, said the fireman. Thomas does. Thomas? Asked Gordon. He's had an accident at the lead mine, said the driver. We're to go and help him. An accident? Asked Gordon. What kind of accident? What's going on? Spit it out, gentlemen. Thomas has fallen down a mine, said the fireman. The ground's not level enough for a crane, so the Fat Controller wants you to pull him out with the winch. For the first time in a while, a big smile spread across Gordon's face. Well, what are we waiting for? He cried. Let's go. Soon everything was ready, and Gordon was thundering down the line to the rescue. Down a mine, is he? Ha, 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 laughed Gordon. What a joke! In no time at all, Gordon arrived at the lead mine. Thomas was looking miserable. The Fat Controller was also there, watching the operation. The cable on the winch was attached to Thomas's back coupling, and using every ounce of steam he had, Gordon pulled Thomas safely out of the hole. The two engines reconciled at once and formed an alliance. As Thomas and Gordon puffed buffer to buffer back home, Thomas smiled. Thank you, Gordon, he said appreciatively. And again, I'm sorry for teasing you. Do you know something? I think you're the most useful rescue engine the island of Sodor has to offer. And as the two friends headed back to the shed, Gordon smiled. For the first time since he had been using it, he finally admitted that his cable was really useful after all.
Yep. I will say something about Down the Mine, though. If you saw my reaction to the audio story, A Part of Me Stayed Behind, I'll have it here up in the top right corner of your screen. I honestly just can't look at Down the Mine the same way again after watching that story. Because every time I see a reference to Down the Mine, I'm always like to myself, that's not the real Thomas and Gordon right there. The real ones are still down there, rotting away in the old lead mines. But you'd see my reaction to A Part of Me Stayed Behind if you know what I'm talking about. But So yeah, I was definitely right about it being a backstory on Gordon's cable. It is. Wow, I wasn't expecting him to get so depressed over his cable right there, to the point where Gordon is put in such a bad mood. His bad mood gets the better of him, and he falls into a ditch and is taken off the express. But Gordon, from rescuing Thomas from the mine, I don't know if I should put that in quotation marks, because I like to consider a part of me stayed behind canon in my Thomas timeline. Let me know if you do in the comments down below. But after rescuing Thomas from the mine, he has to admit that the cable is definitely really useful. Really wasn't expecting to see a story on Gordon's cable, but nice references set during series 1 between the events of Percy runs away and down the mine. Really love. This is why I love Kiefer's stories. He always adds so much lore into the TVS canon. That's why I love his audio story series very much. But yeah, that was a good series. Good series 1 audio story. Thoroughly enjoyed it. If you do want to check out my previous Thomas reactions, whenever it's an audio story or Train's adaptation, I will play this up in the top right corner of your screen right now. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, hit that like button for me. Let me know in the comments down below what you thought of this audio story I reacted to. Also, let me know in the comments down below what other videos you want me to react to next. Follow me on Instagram, a link to that being in the description down below. Share this video, subscribe if you're new here, and ring that bell to get notified when I upload new videos and when I post in the community tab. And I'll see you all in the next one.